Donna with John Hart Real Estate, and today I have with me Julissa from loanDepot. Julissa, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Donna.
So Julissa, at loanDepot, what is it that you do and what makes you different from other lenders?
Yeah, so I am a lender with loanDepot, and I am on a team, the A team, which consists of Rosie Alcaraz, Judith Estrella, and Desiree Hernandez. So we're all women, Spanish speaking, and we just love what we do. We love helping our clients and really just guiding them. We're really good with working with first-time home buyers. We are also Cal HFA's preferred lender, so we do a lot of down payment assistance programs. So we're just excellent at walking our buyers through every step of the way.
So you're really good with that first-time home buyer, hand-holding and like explaining the whole process to them.
Absolutely.
Now, as the CalHAPA program in down payment assistance, can you explain that a little bit more in detail for the first-time home buyers who really don't understand what that is? Because there is a lot of misconceptions, as you know, from down payment assistance programs.
Yeah, of course. So with the Cal HFA down payment assistance, they have programs that will not only help you with the down payment, but will also help you with closing costs and closing fees. The requirements are pretty feasible, where they start at a minimum 640 FICO score. They have FHA financing, conventional financing, and with their debt to income ratio, we just have to stay below 45%.
So it's not like standard FHA where you could push to 47, it's 45% of their total like front income, right? Which is like their whole income, the gross amount, correct?
The total debt to income ratio would be the monthly mortgage payment plus all their debts, and then divided by their monthly gross income.
Okay, that's wonderful. Now, is there any other programs that you think we should know of? I'm sure you also still do VA and conventional and jumbo loans. But for your straight FHA program, what is a minimal FICO score requirement for a standard FHA?
Yeah, so for FHA, we will go as low as 580. We also do USDA, like you said, VA financing.
Sorry guys, Gardner. This is beautiful. This is my time of today. Julissa, you're attracting all the attention today. I mean, honestly, a video without bloopers, who doesn't love it? This is the real deal here. Please continue.
Yeah, so we do all the loan programs, really. We have great jumbo financing programs. But yeah, I mean, the requirements, it's going to depend on your credit score. Down payment requirement can vary depending on the credit score as well. So that's why it's always good to speak with a loan consultant and really know what your situation is and what options are available for you.
And I have noticed a lot of homeowners have been able to grow their equity in their property. Is there ways for homeowners to use that equity to purchase a second home? I mean, how would they go about that with you?
Yeah, so they can absolutely take advantage of the equity that they have. There's different programs. There's always, cash out refinances. There's home equity lines of credit. So there are different options for buyers.
As that cash out refinance versus a line of equity, what is the difference between those two, if you could elaborate?
Yeah, so with a home equity line of credit, you're not starting a new loan. You're basically just tapping into the equity that you have, and you're taking out a separate loan on the home. So it's great because if you have a really low interest rate, which many people do
yes.
with the refinance that we had, low rates that we had, then you don't have to mess up that rate. You just take out a separate loan that will help you tap into that equity.
Now, is that equity line of credit variable or a fixed rate?
So with the home equity line of credit, it just depends on the guidelines, the specific guidelines for the program. But they do have a fixed rate, and then it will change. It does adjust.
It does adjust. So that's like after the first year, 2 years, just an average.
I believe the first 5 years is the drop period, and then it will change from there, because you have a drop period, and then after the drop period you have to start making payments. I'm gonna say it's 10 years actually.
10 years. Okay, that's wonderful. And an actual refinance is basically you're starting at ground zero again, and you're actually refinancing the whole home at its new, basically like a purchase price, correct? Refinancing it at its new current value.
Yeah, so with the refinance, you would be starting a completely new loan.
Now with that completely new loan, does that also increase their property taxes? So some people are under the misconception that, you know, the tax rate is no longer gonna be based, say, like if they were at a 1.45 and the new rate's like at a 1.55, you know, tax rate, are they able to keep their base tax pay, or does it also go up? And of course,
Yeah, so I mean, it's not gonna, in the refinance, it's not gonna change the tax rate. Tax rate will change, you know, annually, however the county adjusts it, but through the refinance, it won't change it.
but so they'll keep their base rate, but will their taxes be based upon that new value now, because it would be a new loan?
No, it wouldn't.
So it stays based, say like if they owe 530,000 and they're at 1.45, their taxes are basically 10,000 a year. If they refinance for 800,000, their taxes are still gonna be that 8 to 10,000 a year that they're currently paying without an increase. It's just them tapping into their equity.
Correct.
Okay, that's good to know, because again, you know, we wear the hat as a realtor and we really try to stay in our lane, but it does help us as a realtor, and this video is gonna help a lot of, you know, homeowners and buyers understand what options are. And there's my last question, I promise you. I was under the impression that there's a new program where, say a homeowner taps into their equity, that they could actually use that money to purchase down and use the potential rental income to qualify for that purchase. Is that true? Do you have that program?
I'm not familiar with the program that you can tap into the equity yet.
Well, not the equity yet, but like the home that they own, they take out their equity, say 200,000, and they want to put 150,000 down on the new purchase. That potential rental income would help that borrower qualify for that purchase. Does that make sense? Am I saying it right?
Is it a new?
A new purchase. They pulled out money from their home. You've done the loan, they pulled out equity. Now with that equity, they're using that equity to buy their first investment property. Now to qualify for that loan, and it's an investment, a rental, right? They're able to use rental income to qualify for that purchase.
I'm not familiar with that program, but if you do have a primary residence and you're going to be purchasing a new primary residence and renting out the old one, then you can do that. You can, you know, use the rental income
From their original home then. So maybe I got it backwards, I apologize.
Yes.
I just wanted to tell, you know, people like, hey, if you have a great big beautiful house, you want it, let's say you wanna buy a second residence, you know, from Ports Hill to San Diego or vice versa, from, you know, San Fernando up here to Palmdale, Lancaster area. So they are able to tap in that equity, rent that property, and then buy up here or vice versa.
Yeah, so that's actually a good question, because a lot of people think that if they have a primary residence and they're gonna purchase another home, even if they're purchasing it as a primary residence, they always think that they need to put 20% down.
Yeah.
And that's not the case.
It's not.
As long as you're buying the property as a primary residence, you don't need to put 20% down. If you're doing conventional, you could do 5% down.
Now, some people, when they are taking out, for say, the equity out of the house, right, to rent it, to buy a new primary residence, while they're doing that type of loan, do they need to declare and clearly state, like, hey, I'm taking this money out for home repairs, models, and upgrades, or do they need to state, like, hey, I'm taking this money and I'm going to be using it to purchase a new primary residence?
When you take out the money, you do have to state what your intention is.
What your intention is. Okay, and sometimes plans do change. So say like, well, you know what, hey, you know, honey, we're gonna do a pool and floor upgrades, and then a house, you know, came up in, let's say, Temecula, they really want it, that was not available before, and they change. Can they go back to the lender and say, hey, this property came up, you know, there's a change of plans, how can we navigate this? Can they come back to you? Because that happens, has starting to happen.
And we understand that, you know, things change and life happens sometimes. So usually in a situation like that, we would have to have a very clear letter of explanation to be able to show the underwriter, and it would just have to be something that's up to the underwriter's discretion, and it would have to make sense, of course.
All right. Well, Julissa, I really appreciate your time, and
You're
honestly,
welcome.
for this
Thank
really
you.
in-depth interview, sorry if I poked and prodded a little too much.
Thank you.
But I really hope that this helps people who wants to buy and sell, and to actually resonate with you more and your A team, you know, Rosie and all the girls. and I actually think it's fabulous of all you're doing, and especially here at John Hart. It's actually Women's Month this month, you know, so John Hart is actually going above and beyond, and they are hoping to have a gala. So as a strong, independent Latina, I'm hoping I can invite you to attend the gala, and I would
Thank
love
you.
just to, you know, continue to support you in your business.
Thank you so much, Donna. I
Thank you for
appreciate
coming.
you. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you guys. Until the next Heart to Heart, take care. Bye-bye.